this week's episode is going to be about The Walking Dead. Yes, I said it, The Walking motherfucking Dead. Now, the only reason I haven't done videos previously about this show is because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to do videos about the show. It's a great show. For those who don't watch the show is about a man who one day gets up, goes to work. He's a cop. Yeah, he gets up and go to work one day. He tries to make an arrest and ends up getting shot. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, when this motherfucker wakes up from the coma that he was put in because of the gunshot, he wakes up to a hellish apocalyptic scene. Not only is the world going to shit and the dead is now walking and eating people, his best friend is also giving his baby mom the dingus on the regular. Now, granted, you can look at this one of two ways. Now, had your best friend not been giving your baby mom the dingus, her and your son might be dead right now. So it might be kind of cool that they start knocking boots so you can take over from that point. Shane was still one of my favorite characters even now in season 6, only because it kill walkers, whatever we gotta do to survive and my family to be happy, Shane was down to do that. Even like in the last episode, I think that's solely because, remember, Rick was in a coma. Shane lived through them couple months without him where he probably wasn't like that at first, but he became that. Just like Rick did over time, he might have started one way, but he became what you see now. Now, which brings me up to now. Now in the current state, if you haven't seen last week's episode, then you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about, but for a long time, all the real fans have been waiting for the arrival of a man called Negan, and they've been playing with him a lot. Now, the reason everybody the reason he is such an iconic character came solely for one thing, because of his introduction. Now, he had one of the best introductions still in the series. I kind of like Alphas, but we'll get to that later. Now, with Negan's introduction, if you're a comic book fan, you know he come in swinging Lucille. Lucille is a barbed wire wrapped bat that he uses to execute his punishments. Now, in the comic book, when they go to make their way up to the hilltop, Negan finally reveals himself by surrounding them, bringing them out, making them line up, and basically telling them, like, so when Negan comes, he tells you basically, I'm gonna kill one of your niggas, you won't give me half everything, and we gonna call it even. Pretty damn reasonable for the world they live in right now, if you ask me. Now, the question at hand is what's gonna happen in the finale. The question on everybody's mind is who's gonna meet Lucille? Who's gonna get put down by Negan? Fans say, oh no, it can't be Glenn because, he a fan favorite. Then other people say, oh, Daryl gonna replace him because, this is AMC we talk about. Now, I ain't trying to hate on Daryl hardcore, dog. Daryl, you're not gonna throw away that money. This nigga just got his own game on Xbox. I went on GameStop and seen he had his own game. I don't think he died. But, I think what happened, Rick and his group is stopped on the road and Negan reveals himself. I think he will already have me shown Glenn and the others that they have captured. They surrounded in the woods, tied up. I think that will be the lineup, like in the comic book of I'm gonna do enemy money more and pick one of them to kill. Now, I think it's gonna be Glenn. I don't think it's gonna be Daryl. I think Daryl got shot in the shoulder, and I think he gonna be. I think they're going to think he's dead, but he's not. And I think he's going to have that hallucinating thing, like when he see his brother, like he did the last time he got stabbed. And, he going to go all Rambo and Woodish on him and get all eating squirrels and shooting arrows type shit on niggas. Now, I think it's going to be Glenn. I think Glenn going to catch that Lucille because it comes down to the question, are they going to stay true to the comic and the original story, or they going to put a new spin on it? They already put so many new spins on it, they don't really have to. Now, for the people that ask why, I don't think it's going to be Carol, because one, by them setting up Michonne and Rick having this like little love thing going on now, I doubt they're going to make Michonne have the love connection with Ezekiel. And for those who don't know who he is, he should be in season 7, and he's going to be in charge of a place called the Kingdom, where it's ran like medieval times inside of a high school. He also has a pet tiger named Shiva. That's some shit. But I think Carol's gonna make her way to this place called the Kingdom, and I think she's gonna meet Ezekiel instead. And for those who are comic book fans, well, we know what happened to Ezekiel when Alpha and the Whisperers come. So I think if they portray that in the series, that's when Carol's gonna go back into I'm blowing shit up mode. I think that's what's gonna be the trigger when promo, and I think that's when she's gonna come back to be a part of Alexandria again with Rick and the rest of the group. I think that's how they're going to reset the stage so that you can still bring Ezekiel in the way you want it to, but you don't have to use Michonne now, and you can keep her with Rick because everybody like Michonne. Now, it's not that I'm hating on Glenn or anything like that. It's just that I've noticed with AMC, when they want to take a change from the comic book, they really like reverse the situation, like with Carol. And people will say, no, I don't think it's going to be Glenn, but I look at it like, well, we just got spared a main character in Swap. And what I mean by that is, because in the original story, Abraham is the one that shot with the crossbow arrow by Dwight. It wasn't the doctor. And even though Denise had that drastic impact that everybody was like, oh my God, y'all gotta realize that Abraham is definitely going to change the story dramatically, because his military input is something that would have been greatly valued during All Out War, and it wasn't because he was taken out early before it even popped off, but now he's still here. That what is going on. I know that Abraham put in work, and now that he's still here, we've been spared a character that can have a good, like, even though I do like Glenn and I know Glenn's a rider when it comes down to All Out War, he killed the bull when they went in for the raid, but you gotta remember he had a problem with it. Abraham's not gonna have that same problem. So I think because they already did a character swap with the deaths, and we already got spared the main characters, and think about it, we still got Daryl Dixon. Carol is basically a tank in the series, and she's still alive. A lot of people are still alive that is looking more like Glenn's not gonna make it. Get it, like, the best character choice to pick would still be stay to the original story, pick Glenn. Why? Because the impact not only it would have on the group, seeing as though he's one of the original Atlanta Five, and because of how it would directly change Maggie, who they're prepping up, as you've seen, to be a leader. As far as Daryl go, no, I don't think he's dead now. I don't think it was a headshot, and I don't think he's going to meet Lucille by Negan. I think what AMC is going to do is, because him and Dwight is so similar, they're going to play with that rivalry. One, I think in the back of Dwight's head, he still remembers Daryl did try to save him, because in 2 occasions what AMC is going to do is play a series of basically Daryl going after Dwight, or them two encountering each other, and every time Dwight somehow besting him. And then I think by the end of the season, or that Daryl, like, because Daryl always has been when I'm involved, I'm going to find or kill whatever we need to do. So I think it'd be cool to have Dwight, these two are a mirror image. Daryl is basically Dwight from the comic book, going toe to toe, and Dwight besting him at every turn, because that will lead up to the perfect best situation when Daryl finally either put him down or they have to team up with each other. That would be fly too. So I went on a bit of a rant there, but the end of all, my prediction is strictly this for the finale. I think they're going to get surrounded by Negan. I think him and Rick are going to have the words that they need to have, because I believe he's going to have Glenn, Daryl, Michonne, and Rosita. And I can think that's Rick's going to want to negotiate. He's not going to want to open fire knowing that they got his people. I think that's when Negan's going to tell him he wants half, and basically he's going to kill somebody. But I do not think he's going to kill him on the road. I think whoever he picks, Glenn, and he's going to take them back to somewhere else and kill them. And I think the episode is going to be mainly about Rick and them trying to get to Negan before he actually delivers the finishing blow. But I think it'll be too late by the time they get there. And that is my prediction for the season finale.